everyone, I'm Max and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to attempt to use Ravelry for the first time. When I started my knitting and crochet journey back in July, I didn't think I would get this deep, but now I'm feeling swamped with photos and details about patterns and projects that I've completed, and I have nowhere to put them. I originally started detailing my project in a small section of my notes app, but I outgrew that very quickly. Then I decided to set up a Notion to see if I could track it that way, and this worked for a while, as you can see, but slowly I fell off and I wasn't checking in and updating it, and during my time using Notion I had started to use Ravelry a little bit more to locate patterns. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to learn how to use Ravelry together. For a little bit of context, I have apparently been a member of Ravelry since the 15th of January 2023. Do I remember making this account? No. Was it connected to my email? Yes. Was it definitely my account because it had my name on it? Yes. But as you can see, my Ravelry page is very, very empty. So together in this video, we are going to set up my Ravelry page and start inputting all of my yarn and my finished objects and my current works in progresses into Ravelry. I've also felt like I've said Ravelry so many times that it no longer sounds like a word, so that's amazing. Okay, so first up, we are going to edit my profile together. So for my website or blog, I'm going to input my YouTube channel. This is kind of like a blog, right? And I measure my yarn in meters and grams. I'm going to upload a profile photo. Now we're going to scroll down to the personal bits and I'm going to fill this out. Okay, I've filled some of that out and let's save the changes. Oh, it looks awesome! Okay, I'm not sure what I want to do first, if I want to input my finished objects or if I should input my yarn. I have a lot of yarn that's unlabeled, but if I input my yarn, I think I can then, when I do my projects, like say, hey, I used X amount of this yarn and X amount of that yarn. But then, on the other hand, I have a lot of yarn that is unlabeled because when I was younger, I loved to take the labels off of my yarn, so I have a lot of unlabeled acrylic that I don't know the name of or anything like that. Okay, I've clicked on my yarn stash and I'm seeing add to stash as a button. Oh, okay. Should we try adding in some unlabeled yarn? Hold on, let me go get some. Okay, I have one ball of red unlabeled yarn and one ball of blue unlabeled yarn. Let's try and add this red one into my Ravelry. So I definitely got it at a store, but I'm not sure which type. And I want to say, should I call it like childhood red yarn? I'm not sure if there'll be an option to put the colour in later, so I think I'm actually going to delete the red bit. Okay, Ravelry definitely won't have this yarn because I don't even know what yarn it is. So if Ravelry doesn't have this yarn, you can continue without choosing one. I will click that button. Ooh, okay. So I'm going to put red in. And I'm going to say red. I think I'm going to input all of my childhood yarn this way, just under this one yarn. Just as different colorways. And there is an option for the weight, so I'm going to put DK. And I'm going to say I'm going to weigh it. Let me get my scales. I have 96.74 grams of this. Oh, it's rounded up. Okay. I can also add a photo. Ooh, okay. Let me take a quick photo of these. I can use my other phone for that. Let me make it square because the pictures Ravelry has are square. Okay, grand. I have added that photo in. Finished with photos. Oh, it looks awesome. Can I stash more? Ooh, okay. Now we'll do the blue. I have 97 grams exactly of this. And this is, again, a DK weight yarn. Okay, he added it. Now it's time to go through, like, my entire stash, which is honestly terrifying because I have a big stash, or at least a big enough stash to where this kind of worries me. Like, this scares me. I'm gonna see if I can do it on my phone because I think it would be easier to just take the photo rather than having to upload it to my computer. So let's try and do that, shall we? Also, I forgot to mention this earlier, but another reason that I didn't like Notion is that they have a limit on the size for the photos that you can add, which wasn't working for me. Okay, look, I've added that photo. Okay. Now if I go back to my stash, I have 2 photos. How should I do this? Do I want to go bag by bag / area by area, or do I want to do all yarns of the same type? Let's first do all of the yarn that I've used up since I started crocheting and knitting back in July. I keep all of my yarn labels in this bag, so it'll be really easy to tell what we've used. First up, I actually want to add the orange yarn that I used in my Halloween video because I don't have a yarn label for that because it was a childhood yarn once again, so it didn't have any label. I'm just going to say I had 100 grams of it, and then when I input my projects later, I'll use that full 100 grams on the pumpkin and the scrap basket. I haven't added a photo for that one because I don't really have a photo of it, but that's added to my stash. Oh, I'm finding this so fun! Okay, this little collection is the stuff I used up first before October. I have it collected like this because I needed to know how much I used in October. Okay, first up, this was Bonjour Baby, 100 grams, double knit. Sold as a 2-pack, yes, I know. And it has shades and dye lots information on the back. Let me see if I can find this on Ravelry. I can't find a brand name beyond just what looks like the name of the yarn, so I'm going to input the name of the yarn as the brand name. It was from Pound Stretcher. Okay, I had the colorway 807. Now, I think this was the pink that I used in my baby blanket, so I'm gonna set it as pink. And I had 2 skeins of this. I'm not going to add a photo because the photo would just be of the yarn label, but hopefully I'll be able to add photos to the yarn that I do currently have in stock. Next up is this Breakaway Mega Chunky. Now, I have the yarn label here, but I do technically have some of this yarn left, so I will input this into my Ravelry and probably take a photo. But I think I'm going to continue this offline and see how far I can get tonight with inputting my yarn. Okay, one of the projects I have on the go at the moment is a scrap vest, and this vest uses a lot of like the childhood yarns that I was talking about earlier, and also any scraps that I create. So this is kind of what it looks like. That's as far as I've gotten, yes. And I think I've decided that I'm not gonna log any of this yarn in my Ravelry. If I end up posting the project on a Ravelry, then I will just not detail the yarn used, because like all of this yarn is unlabeled, which makes it a pain in the bum. Okay, I'm filming on my second phone, so sorry if the quality is bad. So yeah, I have logged all of the skeins that I have used and 2 skeins that are currently on my desk. Now I'm going to log the skeins that are on my floor, basically. They're in bags on the floor, but they're still on the floor. You know what I mean? This is, I believe, my last yarn to stash. It's also the yarn I have the most of. All of the colorways are wrong on Ravelry. Like, this is colour 37, egg yolk, and Ravelry thinks colour 37 is purple. I have 38 stashed yarns, which is crazy. 10 of those 38 are the amigos for my blanket. So, like, 28 stashed yarns isn't as bad. Okay, it's the next day and I'm not feeling good, but I am feeling like a bit of data entry. So I'm going to continue working on inputting everything into Ravelry. Last night I finished up inputting all of my skeins of yarn into Ravelry, and today I'm going to work on getting my projects into Ravelry. I have completed 5 of these projects already, as you can see here. And then one, which is that one, is still in progress. I need to take a photo for that. That's my hexagon cardigan. And I also need to input the other load of projects that I have in my Notion into Ravelry. Also, there's a bunch of projects that I've completed that aren't in my Notion, so I've got to do those as well at some point. But I think I'm going to do those last because those are also my most recent projects. But yeah, I'm going to work on getting that done. Shouldn't take me too long, I don't think. Last night, inputting the yarn didn't take me nearly as long as I thought it would. I'm still having the nagging feeling that I've missed some yarn, but even if I have, when I find it, I'll just input it into Ravelry. So yeah, that's the project / plan for today. Hopefully we can get at least a dent into it today. I think, inputted every single project and whip that I have ever made into Ravelry. I think. 21, that's a lot. And it's not actually all of them. I started 2 projects the other day. I've got to input my 2 blankets. Okay, I can do that. I can do that easy. But now I need to take photos of all of the stuff. I've got to take photos of this, of this, of this, and of this, and all my whip photos. And I need to input the 2 blankets that I started. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to keep up with logging my stuff on Ravelry, but it's been very nice over the past few days when I've been like, ooh, I want to start a new project. I can now go on Ravelry and look and be like, okay, I have X amount of this yarn and X amount of this yarn. Can I use those to make this thing? So, like, I'm finding use in it. I'm just really worried that I'm not going to be able to keep up with it. Especially because, like, I started 2 things the other day and I didn't even think about Ravelry. Especially because I didn't get the patterns from Ravelry. They are just, like, granny stitch things that I'm just kind of making out of my head. So, I'm kind of worried, but hopefully it'll be okay. I'm gonna go take a bunch of photos. I need to take 8 photos and then crop them because my phone that I can take square photos on is dead. Guys, I've done it. I have uploaded my entire stash and my past and current projects to Ravelry. Whew! That took ages, and I'm not entirely sure that it's done. Just the other day, I received a package from Hobie where I got 20 skeins of this yarn, and I had to input it all into my Ravelry, and that was hard. So yeah, I'm not sure if keeping an accurate Ravelry log is going to be helpful for everybody, but I have already started to see the benefits for myself. I was scrolling through patterns on Ravelry the other day, and I saw one that I really liked. So I looked through my yarns and realised I had enough to start making it. And being able to see all of my projects in one place has been very helpful. I've referenced Ravelry in many videos to do things like count how many beanies I've made from a specific pattern, or see what my bandanas looked like in different sizes. It means that I don't have to get all of my projects out to view them and look at them and plan my new project. It's also a way to accurately keep track of what I gifted to people, what they looked like, and have a record for myself of literally every single thing I've knitted or crocheted. And I think that aspect of Ravelry is why I'm going to continue to use it. I definitely think there'll be periods of time where I forget to update for a little while and have to add a few things in bulk. But even just using it for a couple of weeks now, I found it really helpful. And I was genuinely surprised when I came to that revelation that I was finding it helpful. Because I was not expecting to find it helpful. I was expecting to put my stash and my projects in, use it for like a couple days, and then just drop it. Because historically, tools like this haven't worked well, but I think this is what I was wanting from my Notion and from my finished objects gallery. I just wanted a place to view everything. Specifically the finished objects and photos of those, but the added detail of having my stash logged and recorded in one singular place has been very helpful. And I'm excited to see what that means for my crafting and my stash moving forward, because I have a lot of yarns in my stash. I didn't realise it was that bad. So there's some stash busting videos coming out, but then there's also some haul videos, so, you know, two sides of the same rock. I next want to talk about some things that have been surprising for my own Ravelry stash. So this is like less about Ravelry as a whole and more about like my specific profile and projects, logs and everything on Ravelry. I only have 27 projects. I would have thought that would be way higher. I'm not sure what I would have guessed, maybe like 40 to 50 I would have guessed. I keep thinking that I've forgotten to add stuff, but I have added everything, I think. I'm finding it hard to visualize what I've made in like the early months of my journey, so I'm glad that I have this now, because it's like I would have forgotten this. I was also shocked at how much is in my stash. I am genuinely kind of like almost ashamed of how much is in my stash. I have 61 individual entries into my stash, and some of those have like 2 of them sort of thing. I wish there was an easier way on Ravelry to like assign yarn to a project but not have that yarn be used up, because I know that I'm using some of this Hobie Amigo to make like my temperature blanket or the wall hanging for my Nana. I know what they're going to be used for, but I have no way to like divide that in my Ravelry. I would love to see a count of yarns that I have nothing for, that I have nothing planned or decided on for them, because I think that would be the most helpful feature that I'm not currently using or don't currently know about. If that is a feature in Ravelry, let me know down below, because I would be very, very happy to use it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Ravelry, my experience setting up my own Ravelry, and also a little bit of a notification that if you want to know anything about a project I've done, it's in my Ravelry. So yeah, I've worked on this video for so long, so I really hope you guys enjoyed. I also recently hit 60 subscribers, which is crazy because I feel like I was only on 40 like 2 weeks ago. So thank you guys so much, genuinely, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!